Not that she needs an introduction or a reintroduction. She is Jane Slater from the NFL Network, covers the Dallas Cowboys extensively. Mike McCarthy, how much does it's easy to forget that the Cowboys are dealing with life with a brand new head coach. What is what's going on now doing to him in terms of preparation and what he's supposed to be doing and the task at hand as a first-year head coach here?
Great great question. This guy talked about needing football and football needing him. I mean, this team is going to really need him, come the fall. I think it's going to be interesting because the other question I have is, did his family move here yet? Because he kept talking about the fact that, he was going back to Green Bay because his girls were still in school and that was important to them. With the coronavirus, are you packing up and moving yet? Are you in the Frisco area? I haven't talked to Mike since Combine, and quite frankly, like I said, sports is important, but I also feel like it's important to let people breathe right now.
You've done a lot of stuff right. And I don't just mean over these last couple of weeks. I mean over the course of your career. Fantastic. We can't have a Dallas Cowboys conversation without bringing up one Rain Dakota Prescott. So, all know what's going on right now with the franchise tag and the 4 years versus 5 years, and they have until July to figure out if they're going to move into a new contract. And the reports are, and you would know this better than I would in terms of the reports are that they're back at the negotiating table. No matter what happens, do you sense that there is there? I guess is a better way to put it, better than do you sense. Is there any kind of friction between Dak and the Dak camp and the Cowboys?
I think Todd France has been driving a hard bargain. I think he's a bullish agent, and you would want a bullish agent when you are working on your first contract, right? Like, he has been playing for what a fourth round pick plays for. He didn't get this sort of signing bonus money that. And I think of all the things that he's navigated in the time that he's been there. Zeke's suspension, Tony Romo's injury. He was fourth on the depth chart. The numbers that he put up last year were ridiculous. And so he's sort of done everything you've asked of him. I don't get the sense that there's any questions about him being their guy, or they wouldn't have put the exclusive franchise tag on him. In other words, if they'd given him the other tag, that would have allowed other teams to have made an offer, and if the Cowboys didn't match it, they would have gotten 2 first-round picks. Now, that would have been attractive, right? If that was a guy you weren't really sold on, if another team offered him $35 million and they didn't want to give it to him, 2 first-round picks. Go get a quarterback. They didn't do that. So that tells me that Dak is their guy, but they were waiting on the CBA to see what sort of money they were, and I am being told that it is Dak's camp's position that they want this 4-year contract because there is going to be a Deshaun Watson contract at some point. There is going to be a Pat Mahomes contract at some point, and they want to be able to re-enter the market and renegotiate another one when the market is set. It's actually really shrewd negotiating. So the Cowboys have sort of been going back and forth, and they've put themselves in this situation. If they had done this, they have actually never really gotten to this point where they're negotiating a quarterback's contract in its final year. They typically get them done a year or two before. So they sort of uniquely put themselves in this situation. If they had gotten it done for Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, the numbers wouldn't be where they are. But they didn't. They went and got DeMarcus Lawrence done, and they got Ezekiel Elliott done. So here we are. But I was told, because I asked the question, well, if you're going to spend $34 million, the window's closing, as Jerry says, and you want to win now, I'll play devil's advocate. Why not get in the Tom Brady sweepstakes? Mike McCarthy, Tom Brady. You're telling me that doesn't get you a Super Bowl? I was told that Mike McCarthy thinks that Dak is not only great, but he can make him great. And he points to the work he did with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. So he believes in Dak. And we're seeing Mike McCarthy get a lot of the things that he wants. I mean, the fact they got Aldon Smith here because of Jim Tomsula, even though Aldon is super controversial, hasn't played since 2015, it's telling me things. The fact that we didn't see them retain the John Kitnas, the Rod Marinellis, that's telling me something. So if the input I'm getting is that Mike McCarthy is a fan of Dak Prescott, I got to think that this thing is going to get done. And if it doesn't, he's franchise tagged. And guess what? They can franchise tag him again. And I don't think either party wants to get to that point.